Welcome. We are today in the present session at the conclusion stage about the way we have to take further steps for Vedic mathematics formulae tabulation. It is going to be a very blissful exercise, and in terms of the success index of this exercise, we will be having face-to-face evaluation of what precisely is going to be the reach of this very course. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity effort shall sit comfortably. One is to take 6 steps to be within Vedic knowledge domain. These steps are, as is the preservation of shalokas 1 to 6 of Lagadh Yajurved Jyotish Vedanga, Pranaam, Pratigya, Avashyakata, Prashansa, Pratipadya Vishaya, and Adi sequential initiation. Let us approach Ganita Sutras formulae tabulation exercise by following this path of approach with Pranaam, Pratigya, Avashyakata, Prashansa, Pratipadya Vishaya, and Adi sequential initiation to the Vedic mathematics by approaching Vedic mathematics book and diaries of Swami, Bharti, Krishna, Tirtha, Maharaj. That during last 5 decades since publication of this book of Swamiji, a good number of attempts have been made to complement and supplement the demonstrative illustrations of applied values of Ganita Sutras in the domain of arithmetic operations on algebraic formats. The crowning gem by Kenneath Ronald Williams is a blissful breakthrough, and same fulfills us with needed confidence about the claims of Swami Bharti Krishna Tirtha Maharaj regarding potentialities and applications of range of Ganita Sutras. The institutional steps of Shiksha, Sanskriti, Uthan Nyas, and individual dedication of Rakesh Bhatia are encouraging initiatives for the cause of dissemination of Vedic mathematics values. The stage has come that the Vedic mathematics textbooks writing project be taken at institutional level, and Institute of Vedic Mathematics Research be established. I, with all humbleness, in the light of my 5 decades dedication to Vedic mathematics of Ganita Sutras, am of the conclusion that dedicated institutional approach is required to have Vedic mathematics of its original glory of Vedic order. The mental states being created by existing mathematics steps are blocking transcendence to higher dimensional basis base of Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, Vedic technologies, and Vedic systems. With these words, let us continue a visit to the title of the book of Swamiji. It is Vedic Mathematics, or 16 simple mathematical formulae from the Vedas. See, it is Vedic mathematics, but it is 16 sutras from the Vedas. This title deserves to be visited time and again. One shall sit comfortably and have a fresh visit to this title. The title is Vedic Mathematics, or means the Vedic Mathematics is what? 16 mathematical formulae, 16 sutras from the Vedas. And then these 16 sutras are also having their corollaries. These are 16 sutras. So this title of this book, as it is a very big source reservoir of Vedic mathematical domain. This Vedic mathematical domain is to be explored. This Vedic mathematical domain is to be chased. This Vedic mathematical domain is to be enlivened. Therefore, we have to have always a fresh visit to this title of the book of Swami Bharti Krishna Tirtha Ji Maharaj. The chapters of this book are 40 in number. These chapters, as these are actual applications of Vedic sutras. These are not a treatise. This is not a book introducing Ganita Sutras. This book is taking up certain actual applications. So it is illustrative demonstrations exercise. These sutras have been taken up for actual applications, demonstration in concrete situations. One shall have a revisit to this approach, which in itself well indicates as that here attempt is being made to demonstrate by actual illustrations to the people of the times, those who were in mathematical domain in that time, and those who were susceptible about the mathematics living within these sutras. This was an answer and exercise towards that aim and objective to bring to pointed attention of everybody as that these sutras are mathematics sutras, and mathematics of these sutras have the potentialities and features to work out the mathematical problems, mathematical operations with which we have been involved, we have been absorbed during that time and since then. The arithmetic computations is the focus of it. Multiplication and division are the main applications domains. Therefore, while we have to attempt textbooks for a mainstream discipline of Vedic mathematics, then we have to approach this source for the purposes, for the aim and objective with which these actual applications stands worked out here. the subject is bigger. The domain is very large. The perspectives are highly ambitious. And the attempt of all of us, of all these 50 years, in respect of the applied area of the actual applications worked out in this book, have their limitations. So these attempts of ours, all these 50 years, in respect of the actual applications worked out here, demonstrated here in this book, are to be taken as confined to that very mathematical domain. It is to arithmetic computations. The algebraic formatting for these operations is an additional feature. However, these demonstrations nowhere claim that these are the only applications areas of these sutras. As such, the exercise of compilation, tabulation of the Vedic mathematics formulae is to have absolutely fresh visit. We have to visit each sutra distinctively as a complete mathematical domain. When we will be initiating ourselves with Ganita Sutra 1, then naturally we will be posing to ourselves that nothing is to be presumed as manifested existence prior to this phase and stage of manifestation. In Vedic language, in Vedic knowledge perspective point of view, Nashdiye Sukt is that phase and stage when there is nothing in manifested form, and our initiative, our anxiety, our aim, our desire to reach the processes in which non-manifested state is coming within the manifested state. In arithmetic language, that Nashadiya state, non-manifestation state, is zero value. And Ganita Sutra 1, these mathematical sutras are initiating themselves from the very beginning as a first step, and it is ekadhikena purven, one more than previous one. This text, as it is having question and answer both lively here, ek, one, adhi, more than, ken, then what, is the question. One is more than what? Which value? And answer is purven, that value which is prior to that. And what is prior to that? Non-manifesting, nashadi, zero. So one is defined here, but one is not restricted, not conditioned as a unit of a particular domain. It is not going to be a unit of a length, or a unit of an area, or unit of a volume, and so on. It is absolutely a fine concept. One is absolutely a fine concept like zero. And ahead of 0, a reach from 0 as a first step is that which stands defined as 1. Purv is previous, that Purv is also east, and on eastern end reach limit point is the placement of the sun, the Surya, and a step ahead would mean we will be transcending the solar universe in planetary setup. We can say that one feature of this text is that it takes a step ahead of Surya sun, and reach is going to be up till pole star. Like that, we have to have fresh visit to these texts. And the text of Ganita Sutra 1 is a composition of 16 letters. And these letters are from Devanagari alphabet format. These letters of Devanagari alphabet format carry along with them their placement values and other features. So when these letters are borrowed, are being taken from the format of Devanagari alphabet, that would mean that we are carrying in terms of these letters the placement values and other features of these letters as well. These are transcendental code values. And the 16 letters of the text of Ganita Sutra 1 are having their placement values, TC values, as are tabulated. And this tabulation of placement values of 16 letters of the text of Ganita Sutra 1 makes a summation value 75. And when we will be reaching a step ahead at this Thapatya, the geometric formats, then it will be a blissful reach, as that if we are having quadruple cubes and we have a synthetic setup of them, then these quadruple cubes will have sequential contribution of their structural components as 27, 18, 18 and 12, making it 75. So the text which has been in letters form, the same permits its translation into numbers. So the letters text with its translation in numbers text takes us a step ahead to the geometric formats. Like that, there is going to be the sequential unfolding, and each letter with its specific TC value is having as many as 10 folds. So these 16 letters of the text of Ganita Sutra 1 carry as many as 160 features. So the manifested creation of the creator's space of quadruple spatial dimensions setup with its transcendental origin provides a transcendence from four space as domain to four space as a creative boundary of the transcendental domain of 10 components. So each value has 10 folds. And like that, we have to progress from the text of Ganita Sutra 1 to the text of Ganita Sutra 2. However, if we have a fresh visit to the title of the book, then it will be pointedly coming to attention as that these sutras are having corollaries, that is subsutras. So each sutra is having its corollary. It is here where we have to have a pause. And the pause is that the translation given under the text of Ganita Sutra 1 adds that this is also having its corollary. So the transition from Ganita Sutra 1 to Ganita Sutra 2 is having bridging of the gap, and this bridging of the gap of the mathematical processing steps of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 2 is supplied by Ganita Sutra 1. This way, we have to approach to the mathematical steps, mathematical domains, and mathematics of Ganita Sutras. Sequential applications of the working rules of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras, with their beginning with Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Upsutra 1, will give us a very blissful picture of this domain. Now, on the computer screen are being pointedly tabulated some illustrative common applications of the working rule of Ganita Sutra 1 in the light of the availability of Anurup Pain Ganita Sutra 1 as a symmetry proportionality rule. So if our Purvain, the previous value is 1, then Ekadhikain will make it 1 plus 1 is 2. If value 1, the previous value is 1 raised to power 1, then the Ekadhikain will make it 1 raised to power 2. If previous value is single point, the Ekadhikain will make it pair of points. If it is single line, it will make pair of lines. If it is single axis, it will make pair of axes. If it is a line, it will make it a square. If it is first, it will take to second. If it is first, then it also will take to first and second both. If it is 1, it will take to 1 plus 2. If it is a triangle, it will take to a square. Like that, if it is an interval, it will take to a square. If it is a set of 2 endpoints of an interval, it will take to 4 boundary lines of a square. If it is a negative dimension orientation, then it will take to a square. If it is 2 spaces origin, it will take to 3 spaces an origin. If it is hypercube 1, it will take to hypercube 2. Like that, there is a very wide spectrum of applications of real utility. All cues, all roll numbers, all enumerations, all cardinalities, or within the sway of this working rule. And then the structuring, the construction, and interlocking of the artifices of the numbers as well will follow from these working rules of Ganita Sutra 1 and Ganita Sutra 1. It will take us from natural numbers as counting numbers to whole numbers to rationals to reals to complex, and beyond that to the creative, then to transcendental, then to self-referral, then to unity state, and whole range up till the Brahman domain as numbers values, or to sequentially follow by the repeated applications of this rule. So we have to revisit the sequential lively applications domains of these sutras. Now, the present day approach of a set theory as a name as a set, if it is of finite points and if it is of infinite points. Now, a unit interval will accommodate infinite points of Eurospace. So one of one space is infinity as far as the Eurospace is concerned. So when we will be counting from and reaching from unit length to 2 units length, then in fact we are entering from single package of infinite points to another packet of double number of entities. So it eventually becomes the mathematics of infinity. And it is this transition which is to be reached and to be worked out. So how the structures can be carried, how the content can be carried is the values domain of Ganita Sutras. We have to transfer water, we have to transfer electricity. So the applications domain of Ganita Sutras as ganas and as lokas is a very big leap ahead. These are very big steps. So while compiling the Vedic mathematics formulae, we have to follow the organization features of Ganita Sutras and Upsutras themselves. This way, we can have a revisit to the text of Swamiji, and we can tabulate the applications of Ganita Sutras, sutra-wise. So, when we will be compiling the textbooks, one feature is to be that each sutra is to be distinctively accommodated in one lesson, and other way around, all applications may be approached distinctively under distinct sutras. This way, preliminary steps for initiations are to be visited afresh. Vedic scriptural values domain has 6 initiation steps. This is Pranaam. One is to salute the existing knowledge. Pratigya. One is to have determination to glimpse and imbibe the lively values. One is to realize the necessity. One is to appreciate the knowledge. One is to have specific comprehension of the discipline of the domain, a domain as a discipline and its initiation point. With respect to Ganita Sutras, our beginning naturally is to be with Ganita Sutra 1. And the mathematical domain of Ganita Sutra 1 is naturally to be initiated in terms of its first letter. And the first letter is the sixth vowel. Once we will be beginning with the sixth vowel, we are presuming that we have already been through the previous 5 vowels, phases, and stages. This way, our exercise for tabulation becomes the central exercise. If we want to be parallel with Vedic mathematical values, their potentialities, features, and applications domains, then we shall approach these sutras by Pranaam, Pratigya, Avashyakata, Prashansa, Pratipadya Vishaya, and Adi, with respect to the very first letter itself. And the first letter is 6 as number value. It is Surya Ank. It is the first perfect number. And it is the Shad Chakras of a human body. It takes to the 6th element, beyond the 5th element, the space. It takes from Akash to Paraviyom. So it will take from 4 Vedas to the knowledge as the 5th Veda, Pancham Ved. It will become Ayurved. It will become Chark Sahita. It will become Urma Bhartam. It will become Shat Brahm, Shat Pat Brahman, Pat. It will become Mimansa. It will become Mabhashyam. So 5th Ved is the lively values domain of 4 Vedas. Thank you very much.